Hello and welcome to the Fremont Chamber of Commerce television show, the show where businesses and the community connects. I'm KK Conashiro. There are a lot of industries where continuous training is required, such as the medical field, police and fire departments, as well as the high-tech world. But if you're in a profession where continuous training is not typical, you might make it a routine for your own professional growth. With us tonight is Patricia Carrera, who is a senior learning consultant for Kaiser Permanente. She is here to explain how Kaiser grooms its employees to better themselves, and this may give you some ideas if you're looking for ways to improve your skills and grow professionally. Patricia, thank you so much for coming tonight.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Sure. Now, before we get started, I want to know exactly what you do for Kaiser.
So I'm a senior learning consultant with Kaiser Permanente here in the Southern Alameda area, and I support the Hayward and Fremont medical centers.
So you're always on the road?
I'm always on the road, yes.
Now, as a senior learning consultant, what does that mean?
Well, what I do is I develop and train the leaders within Kaiser Permanente, and I also help coach and motivate and provide some guidance to the leaders and managers there in Kaiser.
That's great. Now, speaking of motivation,
I
think one of the biggest challenges a lot of managers and anyone in a leadership role has is motivating their employees. So how do you help, especially new managers, help their employees achieve what the goals are for the company?
Well, a couple things. I mean, there's a lot of inspirational books of how to motivate people, and some managers think that people are motivated by money, or people are motivated by vacation, or people are motivated by gifts. But really what motivates people is involvement. So one of the biggest things that I recommend that leaders and managers do is that they create a vision for their department, that they create a vision for their organization of where is it that they want to lead people. And once that they know where it is they want to go, it's important to communicate that with your staff. And involve them. The second part would be to involve them in the decision of how am I going to get from here to that vision? What are the things that we need to do together, and involve them in that decision making.
And then when you involve them, because when there's a vision, there's usually changes in the processes. And a lot of people hate changes. So when you're involving them, they feel part of it?
They feel part of the decision. They feel that they've been heard. And another thing that they also, it enhances that relationship between the manager and their staff.
Go ahead.
I was going to also add that in addition to involving them, the next step is to really coach them and guide them and make them feel reassured that the decisions that they're making are good ones.
So feedback.
Feedback and coaching and some support in the decisions that are being made. And lastly, once you've achieved your vision, hopefully organizations can achieve their vision, is to really, knock on wood, is to really celebrate the successes.
Oh, nice.
And it's important.
Like how?
Well, some of the things you can do is just a small gathering of people and have a light breakfast and just say thank you everyone for your involvement and your work in this project, and just recognize people for what they've done. People feel really appreciated by that.
That's good. Now, I think when you show people your appreciation, giving negative feedback would be a lot easier then, if you have to do that, right? Because a lot of people get so hung up on that, and they get stuck, especially new managers. So when you're giving positive feedback all the time, and when something does go awry, it's a lot easier giving negative feedback, don't you think?
Well, I'd rather say to give constructive feedback versus to give negative feedback. It's always important. Sometimes we forget to give positive feedback. Like, great job, you're doing a good job, keep doing what you're doing.
That's a huge mistake a lot of managers don't or do.
They don't do enough of it.
Exactly.
And in addition, when you're giving constructive feedback, you need to really know and have a positive intent. What is it that you'd like to see this person do differently? What is the end result of why you feel that this is really important? And then really just state what was it that they did, and make it so that it's not a personal thing.
Good. Now, you have this humongous leadership training program. I want you to describe what's involved, what can your employees expect to get out of it, and how long is it? How long is the course and everything? Please.
I'd be happy to talk about that. So we are really excited at Kaiser Permanente, especially in the Southern Alameda area, to have what we call the LEAD program. And the LEAD program really encompasses both supervisors, managers, and directors at Kaiser Permanente. And we are a very unique company because we have an integrated healthcare system. So one of our objectives is to make sure that this encompasses all of the management staff within Kaiser Permanente, both the hospital as well as the clinic.
So no matter how new you are to management or how seasoned you are, you suggest that they go through the LEAD program?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
It's really tailored for all levels of
That's
management.
Great. That's great.
And it has two different components. It has an operational component, and it also has a leadership development component.
Explain the difference.
Well, for new managers, they really need to get used to how Kaiser does things,
right,
and the operations. So the operational modules were designed with the intent to give people the tools and resources to do their day-to-day work.
Okay.
And what we designed is we have subject matter experts that they're the ones who facilitate the courses. And part of the facilitation is really looking at what is it that managers need to know, but also we also ask the managers, what is it that you need to know in regards to these topics? And we pass that information on to the subject matter experts, and together we designed these modules.
That's great. Great. Now, speaking of seasoned managers, a lot of people may walk into your LEAD program with habits already of how they handle people. So if they need to change certain ways of dealing with people, how do you help them overcome that? Because you know what used to work doesn't work anymore.
I think part of the people that are coming to these modules really know that they have to manage a variety of different people.
Right.
That we have a very diverse organization.
Absolutely.
And that people come from different walks of life.
Absolutely.
And so one management style may not always work 100% of the time. So effective leaders need to be able to use a variety of different leadership styles.
Great. Now, how do you search for new leaders in your own community, your own Kaiser community? Because I know you want to have possible new future leaders to take the LEAD program, but what qualities do you look for in employees to boost them up?
Well, a lot of employees, which you'll find is some employees will say, you know, I'm really bored in what I'm doing. I want to do something different. I want to do something more.
So they help you?
They help you, yes.
That's great. Okay.
And those are usually the people that have the qualities of effective leadership. They're innovative, they're creative, they're inspired, they're motivated to do more work, to do better work, to lead other people. And one of the wonderful benefits of the LEAD program is that we really try to tailor it for succession planning. So what we're looking for are not just the leaders of today, but what are the potential leaders of tomorrow?
Absolutely.
And giving them those tools so that they can be effective. And the other component, so I was talking about the operational side, because leaders wear multiple hats. They have to both manage and they have to lead.
And that's just in 1 hour.
Right. Sometimes in 1 minute.
I know.
And sometimes with the same person.
Yes.
So for management skills, an important thing to think about is what are the day-to-day activities that you need to do, and then how do you do them? But for leadership skills is how do I inspire people? How do I motivate people? And how do I lead people through change? How do I move people in a direction for enhancement?
Right.
Organizations, society is constantly changing. And so as a leader, you need to be visionary and look at what are some of the things that are going to be coming up. What are some new technologies? What are new services? Our members, our customers, what are they looking for? And how can we, as leaders, help our staff achieve those results and those hopes for growth?
Okay. I'm going to put you to a little test here. One of the biggest things I see with new managers who just stepped into that role, it's hard for them to let go of doing tasks that they used to do as employees, and now they have to manage people. How do you help them let go of the task and projects and just work with the people? How do you do that? Because that's a big obstacles.
Right. And so some people they came from a very task-oriented position where they were maybe project managers and they managed specific processes.
Now they have to watch someone else do that.
Right.
And it's that's hard.
It's hard, I think, because some people may feel that I could do it better if I did it myself.
Right.
And you hear that a lot through anyone that you speak to. An important thing to think about and remember is that the people that are now your new staff, they are the ones who are going to get all of the goals, and they're the ones who are going to do the day-to-day work to help you achieve your goals. So you really need to be collaborative with your staff and give them the tools. So if there was something that you knew how to do well, show them how to do that. Give them those tools and resources so that they can do it.
That's great. Any other tips as far as new managers walking into their new roles as far as handling people? Because if you've never done it before, it's like being on Mars. Because handling people on an employee level is completely different from a management level. And for any of our viewers who are brand new to that role, they're looking for help. So any words of advice?
Well, one of the things that I would recommend is to really understand the staff that you're working with. One of the things, let me give you an example.
Okay, good.
Because I am and was a former manager.
Okay.
And in my management role, one of the things that I wanted to do when I was had a new staff is really have one-on-ones with them and have conversations and ask them, you know, where is it that you want to go? What are some of the things that you really love about your job? What are the things that you feel that you're doing well? And what are the things, what direction do you want to go to? And how can I help you get there? And different people have different desires.
Yes.
Some people want to grow into leadership and management positions. Some people are happy where they are.
Yes.
People are in different points in their life. You might have someone who's young who wants to grow with the company. You might have someone who's ready for retirement, who may not want to stretch and grow into a management or leadership position. So really have that one-on-one conversations and really look and ask those questions.
And this is completely different from an employee evaluation, right?
Yes, this is all about coaching, and that should happen on a regular basis.
Okay.
Some people think that coaching, this performance evaluation happens one time a year. You know, it happens at your annual performance evaluation.
Which everyone dreads, but in all truth said, it doesn't, right?
Well, no, not if you're regularly giving feedback and you're regularly coaching people and guiding people.
Excellent.
And really looking at what are the goals, the individual goals, and how are you going to move them forward.
Okay. Now, Kaiser's a huge hospital and company organization, okay, with the different hospitals and facilities you have around this southern Alameda County. So how do you convey to everybody that you have these programs available to anyone who wants to participate? I mean, how do you do that?
Well, one of the first things that we looked at when we were designing the LEAD program was to really look at how we were going to market it. And whenever you have
marketing to your own employees is a good idea then. Okay.
Marketing to your own employees and thinking about what areas can you market it. So some of the things that we did is during a large staff meeting with our management, we gave them the information about what the LEAD program was and how it was going to benefit them. And we also send email announcements letting people know that some courses are available and they're upcoming. And we also have an internet website so that people can go find more information about the course, what are the objectives, what's the overview of each module, and what they're going to get out of each of those classes.
That's great. Now, as a Kaiser employee, do I have to stay after my allotted time of work to take these courses, or is it incorporated into my day, or how does this work?
It's incorporated into the day.
Oh, nice.
And the wonderful thing about Kaiser Permanente is that we have our leadership support. And our leaders, both in the clinic and in the hospital, really support this program and recommend this program for all of the leaders in the greater southern Alameda area.
So an employee won't be get an attitude from someone because they weren't there for a couple hours. That's great. I love that support system. Because a lot of companies that I deal with, you know, they always have to make up for or send their employees to a class after or before work. But if they show support during it, because what they're learning is going to benefit that company, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And our leaders believe in the development of their management staff.
Nice. Now you're in a world or in an industry, if I can speak, where continuous training is required. Medically speaking and non-medically speaking, you're constantly training your employees. What words of advice would you give to a business where training is not typical, such as at your level? Okay, because no matter what you do, you should be continuously improving upon your skills to grow professionally, right?
Yes.
Okay, so what words of advice for anyone watching would you give them to encourage this kind of continuous training to make it typical?
Well, something that business owners and business leaders really need to think about are two things. One of them is, how do I develop people's interpersonal skills?
Excellent.
But also, what are any regulatory or compliance things that people need to know about?
Nice.
And you know, how do I educate my staff? So for example, if they're in a service delivery environment, what tools do new employees and staff members need to have to provide high qualities of service?
That's great. That's great. Now, with I want you to really, if you could, elaborate more on the component on the leadership side of your lead training programs, because I think that's so important. Because it's not just walking in and telling people what to do.
Right.
It's not just walking in and learning from your staff what they want to do. There's more involved, and I don't think people understand that. To me, a leader shows what they want through their actions as well as through their words. So how do you line someone up so that their actions do follow their words?
Well, one of the important things is what you're talking about is modeling.
Yes.
That a leader needs to effectively model what it is that they're going to ask of their employees and be able to do that such thing. And
yeah, because you can't expect your employees to be on time if you're late, right?
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. So you really need to be a model for your staff. There's some of the things that we really address in the leadership component of the LEAD program is how to help navigate people through change, looking at some of the qualities of a genuine leader, how to provide constructive, positive feedback, and looking at how to better interact and collaborate with your team.
Okay, I'm going to pick your brains.
Okay.
Since a lot of managers are not doing as much as I would like to see of giving positive feedback, what are some of the things that you would suggest that they do to remind themselves to pat their employees on the back? Because it doesn't take much.
It doesn't.
That's the sad part. It doesn't take much, and yet no one's really doing it very often.
Well, there's a variety of things. It's really making sure that it's difficult to provide constructive and positive feedback when you are very busy and you're doing a variety of different things. One thing that I always recommend that leaders do is to stop and pay attention. Pay attention to what your team is doing. Pay attention to the hard work that they're putting in, and really focus on what are the little things that people are doing, or what are the big things that people are doing in their teams and in the organization, and just make an effort to stop and thank them for the work that they do.
Would you suggest someone patting one of their employees on the back at least once a day? Or is there some kind of recipe, just to keep it going? Because if you don't develop that habit, you're going to fail at it.
Well, you don't want to do it so frequently that it becomes ingenuine. It's important for it to be genuine.
Okay.
Genuine support.
Right.
But one of the things that I do recommend is that they just make an effort every day. You've ever heard the term managing by walking around?
Yes.
So really making an effort to be there, to witness firsthand the things that people are doing, and to thank them.
That's great.
And congratulate them for what they do.
That's great. Now, how long is your LEAD program?
It is 13 modules.
Okay.
And
is that 13 days or?
Well, no, we break it out because we realize that the leaders in our organization, they have their work. We are
that's right. They do work.
That's right. And we're in a healthcare environment, so we are constantly, we never close. And so we try to break it up.
Thank you for not.
We try to make an effort to really just break it up into several different dates so that people can do their work but also receive some development.
That's great. Now, one of the questions I want to ask is, a lot of companies use the terms manager and leader hand in hand. I mean, it's confusing for a lot of folks. So are they the same, or are they different? What's your definition?
They're different, but they're both compatible.
Okay.
So a manager is something that, if you think about tactical day-to-day work, that's what you do as a manager. You come into your work, you have to make sure that you have sufficient staffing, perhaps you're doing payroll, perhaps you're doing some scheduling, you might be interviewing people, you're doing some of the day-to-day work, you might be ordering supplies, etc. And then and providing guidance, answering questions, dealing with escalations, etc. That's what more tactical approach. A leader is strategic. A leader is someone that is a visionary person, and they're looking at not just what I need to do today, but where is my team going in the next 6 months? Where are we headed the next year? Are there new technologies that are going to be impacting our team? Are there new environmental or societal needs that we need to focus on? How can we help grow as an organization? How can I help develop my team for the future needs? So they are very different, but yet they go hand in hand.
Now, speaking of all the different managers and leads and supervisors, how do you, because everyone has habits to break if they're bad,
Okay.
But how do you get each individual department and their goals to complement each other? Because we all have one big goal.
Right.
So how do you get them to work together, or how do you help them solve their conflicts?
You know, one of the wonderful things about, because not only was I participating in the design of the LEAD program, but I also facilitate many of the modules. And one of the greatest things that I get to see is, like as I mentioned, we're an integrated healthcare system.
Right.
So we have people, management staff from all entities within Kaiser Permanente, and they have an opportunity to just share some of their challenges. And what they find is that their challenges are very similar to maybe someone in a different department, and so they get to work together and collaborate together and build those relationships with people in different departments.
That's great, because they probably don't have that opportunity very often to hear what another manager, supervisor, or lead is going through.
Yes.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Can you, from an employee standpoint, okay, I'm thinking about being a manager, but I'm a little hesitant, but I know they're looking around for people, but as an employee, what should I be doing, or what kind of qualities should I have or brush up on so that you do approach me? Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
okay.
I do.
Because there's a lot of employees watching too, and I'm sure they would like to be promoted or to show some kind of initiative in that road down there. But what are you looking for?
I would say first, become good at what you do. Become very good at what you do.
No matter what it is.
No matter what it is.
Or files or copies, do it well.
Do it well.
Okay.
Do it well. And then the second thing is, let your manager, leader, team lead know that you're interested in moving up in the organization.
That's right, because you're not mind readers, right?
Right.
Okay. Don't worry.
So really, you know, share that. Let them know this is some of the things that are interesting of me. And a manager as well has to stop and ask. When you're having those one-on-one conversations with your staff, ask them, what direction would you like to go into in the next few years? The wonderful thing about Kaiser Permanente is that it's so large and that people really have a variety of areas that they can grow into.
That's great. Now, if an employee has a problem, challenge, issue with a certain task, how would you like them to approach you with that issue?
They're having a challenge with it because maybe it's difficult for them, they're not skilled.
Or they made a mistake.
They made a mistake.
How would you, as a manager, like it presented to you?
Just very open lines of communication. Let me know I'm having difficulties with this. This is something that I'm not comfortable doing, or, you know, I meant to do this and it went wrong. But be really, and open lines of communication is something that you work at.
Okay, because I think if an employee comes to me and they made a mistake, okay, you made a mistake, we'll get over it, okay? But if an employee comes to me, I made a mistake, but this is how I think I should fix it, wouldn't that be a sign of leadership?
Yes, it would. It would. I had one leader once tell me, don't come to me with problems, come to me with solutions.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Now, talk about, you have this LEAD program, but there's other training programs involved with Kaiser, is there not?
Oh, there's a slew of training programs.
So this is just
Kaiser
one
Permanente.
program?
This is just one.
Okay, and you're just involved with this one?
Yes.
Okay, but just to help our viewers out, what other programs do they have available for their employees to train, to upgrade their skills with?
Well, I work in the Department of Learning and Development, and our role is to really develop the capacity of our leaders so that they can achieve the strategic priorities of the company. But there are other departmental at the departmental level, and there's also others within region, but I'm not quite familiar with all of those.
I'm just worried about any Kaiser employee watching, like, what else is there? Where, can they go to your website, or is there an internal website or a listing of these classes that if they want to choose from?
Yes, there is an internal learning management system.
Good.
And they can go onto that system. It's web-based, and they can find out what other courses are available.
Excellent. Now, you've got a couple of minutes left here.
Okay.
Any new manager out there, I mean, this is your opportunity to really help these people out in making that change and becoming the manager they're supposed to be, or glowing manager that they want to be. What words of advice do you have for them? Because it's a change.
Yes. one of the important things is, as a manager, sometimes we're very results focused, and we have specific goals that we need to achieve.
Yes.
And when you're,
which is okay.
Which is okay.
But you need balance.
Right. Focus not just on the result. The result is important because we have goals
Absolutely.
that we need to achieve, but also look at the process and also look at the relationships, because things.
Process, you mean from step A to step B, or
yes.
all the way to Z? Okay.
Step A through Z.
Okay.
And concentrate on how am I going to get to my goal, but also look at the relationship, because that's with the team that's going to help you achieve your goals.
Good.
Because it's important to have all three, to have a focus on the relationship, have a focus on the process, and have a focus on the result.
Okay. Now, as a manager, if you see an employee you have a innate feeling that they're going to be really good at a specific task, but they're a little hesitant in saying, okay, I'll do it. How would you encourage that employee to step up?
Well, let them know that you think that they're the best person for that task, that you think they're the best person for the project, and why.
Good. That's excellent.
And ask them, is this something that they would like to develop in? And what you'll find is, that sometimes people do want. We're all in our comfort zones,
yes.
and what we need to do is we need to stretch out into a learning zone so that we're able to learn new knowledge, learn new skills. What we don't want to be is in the panic zone,
yes.
where we're left, we're left with a project and we don't know where to go with it.
Exactly.
So really let them know
they may never have thought that they could do that, right?
Right.
Okay.
They may have never thought they could do that, but again, remind them that you're there to support them.
Excellent.
You're there to coach them and to guide them, and that as a backup, you're always going to be there for them, because I think that people need that reassurance.
That's great. You're wonderful. Thank you so much for being on the show. Well, I hope you found the information on today's show very helpful, and I would like to thank our guest Patricia Carrera for coming tonight and sharing how important lifelong learning is to your professional life. And remember, it doesn't matter what type of work you do, what matters most is to continuously brush up on your skills. You need to grow professionally and do your job better. Before we leave you, we would like to invite you to some of our upcoming events. On December 6th, we have a mixer at Club Sport of Fremont from 5 to 7 in the evening. Since opening their first club in 1978, their goal has been to improve the lives of their members by helping them integrate fitness into their lives and making new lifestyles. Our second evening mixer is at the Fremont Chamber of Commerce. It's our annual holiday mixer from 5 to 7 in the evening. As well as hosting our annual holiday fun, we are also hosting our annual Toys for Tots drive. Please join us and bring a new unwrapped toy on December 13th. From everyone here at FCCTV, we wish you and yours the very best for this holiday season. I'm KK Connoisseur. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next year.